This is our video for Wednesday, April 29th, pre-AP Algebra 2. Today we're going to review long and synthetic division. Remember that we are working out of Chapter 6. On Monday, we reviewed solving by factoring. Yesterday, we reviewed graphing these higher degree polynomials by hand. Today, we're going to review long and synthetic division, and then we're going to use the division tomorrow to solve completely. All the homework is due by the end of day Thursday. And then on Friday, we will have a traditional quiz over our review of Chapter 6. Now, remember that you can't always factor these big, pretty polynomials, and so sometimes you have to use division. And synthetic division only works for linear factors, so you need to know how to do both long and synthetic. So we're going to review both of those today. So we're going to start with 2x to the third plus 3x squared plus x plus 6. And we are going to divide that by x plus 3. And I'm going to start with long division. You should get the same answer whether you use long or synthetic. But again, synthetic doesn't work for every problem, so you need to know long as well. So for long division and synthetic both, you want to make sure that your dividend, what you're dividing into, is in descending order, and you want to look for missing terms. So we've got 2x to the third, 3x squared, x, and 6. So this is descending order, and it's not missing any of the terms. Remember that if it were missing like the linear term or the quadratic term, we would put a 0 in as a placeholder to make sure that everybody lines up correctly. So again, make sure it's in descending order, and if any terms are missing, put a 0 in their place. So we need to figure out what are we going to multiply x by to make it a 2x to the third. So we would multiply by 2x squared. And 2x squared times x is 2x to the third. 2x squared times 3 is 6x squared. And this is where most people make their mistake. You are subtracting, and you're subtracting both of these terms, so you have to distribute the negative, change both of these signs. You want your first terms to cancel out. If they don't cancel, you're doing something wrong. And 3 take away 6 is a negative 3x squared, and bring down the next x and repeat the process. So to get an x to be a negative 3x squared, we need to multiply by negative 3x. So negative 3x times x is negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times 3 is negative 9x. So we're going to change our signs. We're subtracting. When you subtract a negative, it turns it to positive, and you are subtracting both of these, so they both become positive. Those terms cancel out. X plus 9x is 10x, and we bring down the 6, and we repeat. To get an x to be a 10x, we need to multiply by 10. And so we would have 10x, and then 10 times 3 is 30. We're going to subtract, changes both of our signs. So the 10x and negative 10x cancel out, and 6 take away 30 is negative 24. So our remainder is negative 24. So we would have 2x squared minus 3x plus 10. And remember to write your remainder over your divisor and to separate it from the last term by a plus or I could have put a minus 24 over x plus 3 or plus a negative 24 over x plus 3. But be sure you put an operation here because it is not part of the 10. So that's long division. Now I want to work the same problem but with synthetic. So this was the long version with synthetic. Remember that you take your divisor, so we are dividing by x plus 3, and you think about, well, if I was solving that, my solution would be negative 3. So I'm going to take the negative 3 and put it in the backwards L, and then I'm going to take my coefficients, my 2, 3, 1, and 6. And again, you've got to pay attention, make sure it's in descending order, and if anything is missing, that you have accounted for that with a 0. And then we are going to just drop the 2. And 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. 3 plus negative 6 is negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 plus negative 3 is negative 30. 6 and negative 30 is negative 24. And I like to put a box around that because this is your remainder. And so we were taking x to the third and dividing it by x. So that means that this is knocked down to an x squared minus 3x plus 10. And the remainder is 24 over x plus 3. Notice here I put the minus, I could have put the plus. Notice that we have the same answer, whether we use synthetic or long, but synthetic only works when you are dividing by a linear factor. If we were trying to divide by quadratic or a cubic, we would have to use long division. And again, these are things that you will see in Algebra 3 or College Algebra or Pre-Cal or Calculus, and so that's why we're reviewing these. All right, your work for today is going to be another short worksheet on division.